Mm. Hey everybody, welcome to what day is today, man? Today's Wednesday.
Hump day, baby.
Today's Wednesday. Welcome to a Wednesday edition of Box Seats. My name is Frank Holder. I'm here with Fig. Talent will be right back in. And in case you're not familiar with it, these guys are comics. They've been in the game for an extremely long time. They've been in films. They've been in festivals. They've been in commercials. They've been in so much comedy stuff right now. Now we got to have them in something that's called sports. So we're going to have to talk about some sports. You know what I mean? That's kind of interesting to even have this conversation because, you know, comics and sports doesn't really go together, some people say. But I think it does.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think it does. So with that being said, let me bring my man Talent in. With that being said, I want to be able to say, welcome, guys, to the show. Appreciate you all joining me for the show. Now,
yes, sir.
Before I jump into something I want to talk about, the news just broke that the Wisconsin football team is pausing all related team activities for 7 days. Why? Because of the virus. Seems like we talk about the virus at the top of every show. Seems like that. Now, the Houston Texans are also closing the facility. Why? Because a player tested positive. Lucky for the NFL, the Houston Texans were already on a bye. You know, that lined up. But
they was on a bye.
Yeah, they were on bye. And their season's on the bye too. and also the news just broke that the Miller family is trying to sell the Utah Jazz. So that's in the NBA. We're going to talk about the NBA.
Yeah, Miller Genuine Jazz is selling the Jazz.
Yeah, and the price that they're seeking for is ranging from a couple of billion to a couple of billion more. So we'll talk about that in a second. But right now we got to start the show out. We'll talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers. They won the World Series. I think Talent said it last night that it was yesterday. I think you did too, Fig, said it was a wrap. It was over, finito, and everything else. But to me, the highlight of the story, out of the whole series, we're going to talk about the World Series, was what was happening during the game and happened a little bit after the game. When I think the guy's name was Justin Turner, he got pulled out of the game during the game because he got tested positive, with a positive test, and he was still on the bench, and people had to go out there and grab him and say, "Come on, you need to come back." And then after they grabbed him, when the Dodgers are obviously celebrating the World Series and everything else, he comes out, takes a team picture, takes off his mask, is in arm to arm and elbow to elbow with all his teammates. Talent, when you saw that. Yeah, I already have an imagined idea what you're about to
say. It's crazy that I don't know what it's going to take for us to take this thing serious. Like, clearly the one thing I got from that, I could tell you, people that do stuff like that, they haven't been affected at the extreme level of this virus.
Right.
So for you to lollygag and take it so lightly, that means you haven't been to these absentee funerals, if you will, to these hospital wards where you really can't see your family, where they have people burying loved ones without sending them off proper. Clearly it hasn't touched you up close and personal that much that you will know you're positive. Go to the celebration, to the last game, hang out in the dugout, shaking hand. Yeah, you got a mask on, but dude, it's like, you know how this thing is, and you know it's so much unknown about the virus. Why would you chance it?
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree more. Greg, what's your thought process when you saw that?
And man, I just have to echo more of what Talent said, man. It's just like you haven't been impacted in a way where you're taking it serious enough that you know that at any given moment, if somebody contracts that virus, that they could die. Now here's the thing. Let's just be honest. Healthy people, for the most part, generally, because it's not 100%, they usually survive it. But this thing here, the way it moves, it's like this guy's in the dugout with a bunch of players. And the players, he's asymptomatic, so he could pass it on to other players, which could be asymptomatic. And all of these guys are spreading out to different locations, and they're going to different homes. You don't know who's in their home. You don't know if they have elderly people who have a pre-existing condition or children who have a pre-existing condition. So you being positive, you could affect everybody on your team, including, the managers are older. You know what I mean? People that work on your staff could be older. Like, you could literally be affecting your entire team, including extended staff and coaches.
Now,
And then have all of those people go back to their respective homes and possibly affect people who live with them.
Now
That's crazy.
And it's even crazy when you think about there's an NFL player who just lost. I'm gonna have to have a stack check this out, but there's an NFL player who just got kicked off the season because he caught the coronavirus twice. You know what I mean? And his health is in jeopardy too. So just because you're younger doesn't mean that it can't affect you. You know, and he's an NFL player, and if I can remember correctly, he's a defensive end, and he's one of the big, huge dudes, and it's knocked him out for the season. And right now he's really sick. You know what I mean? Like. He's so sick that people are very nervous about whether he's going to live or not. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like they're having concerns about that. He played in the NFL right now. I think he's playing for the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not sure. Have to have stat check now. But so I'll just I'll end that part of the conversation by saying I think both of you are exactly right. The virus affects people differently, and if you want to put yourself at risk, that's fine. But putting other people at risk is where I just got to shake my head because I just
and just to echo on that I know we talked a little bit about it yesterday, possibly. I believe that could be what's wrong with Cam. We said that yesterday that the reason he just really doesn't look like himself, and we think that could possibly be some of the residue left over from the virus. Like, we don't know. I mean, it just doesn't. He doesn't look like himself. It doesn't look like the usual Cam, usual healthy Cam Newton.
But Fig, that's the whole point. The whole point is there's a lot more we don't know about this virus than we do. And I think that early information, because if I follow it like daily, like I stay glued to it. So every 2 days at the most, there's something new we learn about it, right?
Right.
But people are going off of the old information thinking, I'm young, I'm good. My immune system, I'm good. Kids can go to school because they're not going to have. That's not the truth, man.
Right.
It's like, it's so changing every 48 to 30, 72 hours. The information on this virus changes. We don't know. It's more we don't know than that we do know.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Now let's move on. Let's talk about the game. Now, obviously the Dodgers won the World Series, but I want to say Tampa Bay made some serious mistakes within the series that helped them give away some things. And I think one of the biggest mistakes was that they had Blake Snell. He was dealing, right? Blake Snell he was the first person to strike out 9 batters in the first 4 innings since Sandy Koufax in 1963, right? He starts the pitch. He gets 1 hit. Kevin Cash comes out, and he had 1 hit. He gave up 1 hit. Kevin Cash comes out and pull him out. As soon as they do that, the cameras flash over to the dugout. You see Mookie Betts and all these other guys smiling because they're so happy he's gone. And Kevin, now I'm going to ask you, Talent, is that one of the things where you say, y'all are focusing too much on analytics and not paying attention to what you see in front of you? And not to mention, it's the World Series. You ain't got nothing else to lose except the game, obviously. Like, you could push him today because you might not be around for tomorrow. You know what I mean?
They was nervous Nelly, man. Nervous Nelly all day. It was like, I've never seen a team. I think they were paying more attention to the elimination prospect of actually playing the game and being smart. Mm-hmm. I think every minute you just keep saying, this is it. Like, we face elimination. Like, we lose is over. So you're trying to micromanage coach now and make decisions. That's what I call that. Like, everybody had that supervisor at their job. At some point in life, you had that. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, but here they come. Don't me that, but that, and they walk away, and everybody do the same thing. Go, what the hell is wrong? We always do this. Like, we got this. You know what I mean? Like, I got promoters that I work for on a weekly basis. Like, the guy comes over to me and tell me what I already know every week, never fail. And I just got to the point. I look at him, look, really? You go, oh, I'm just saying. That's what they were doing in that dugout during that game. You get 1 hit. It was like, oh my God, okay, we gotta, what are you doing? Like, you cannot. This is baseball. There are gonna be hits. Right. There are gonna be hits. It's like somebody go, who is that? Who's that? Time out. And it's the umpire. There's the umpires. What'd you call? We seen an unknown man by the plate. He's the umpire. So in baseball, there's gonna be hits. You can't panic because somebody got a hit. Like they didn't panic the game before. Remember when Whichcola was getting lucky and getting hits when Tampa was getting hits? You didn't see them panic. They did what they were supposed to do. They let the pitcher go 6.5, 5.5 innings, 7 innings. And then when they know the arm's getting tired, they're looking at the judging by. You're really supposed to judge by the speed of the ball. If you know the guy's fastball is 98 miles an hour, and then 7 innings in, that ball's going 78. Your arms, come on, you're tight. Your fastball is 10 miles an hour short, not a hit. I think they panicked, but I looked at them, and you could tell it was micromanaging coaching, and it's more worried about losing than winning. That's a big difference in sports. Well, how many times we watch like a football game and you're up by 7, and instead of still trying to win, you start playing what I call Andy Reid conservative, and now we're just gonna let's hold this 7 point. We got 7 more minutes in the game, and the other team is still going hard.
Right.
Yeah,
that was a bad call.
Right, I agree with that, man. That dude only gave up 1 hit. The Dodgers, people weren't even touching the ball when they were swinging. Like they were so far off, and they pulled this dude out, and I was like, "That's the worst move I've seen in a long time." But anyway, Fig, what was your thoughts about that when you saw that?
It's just like you said, Frank. Like the analytics say that after 6 innings, his productivity falls off, and that's what they were going by. And I always say, and professional athletes always say, analytics don't tell a whole story. Like you could get a framework of what analytics, of what the game is about with analytics, but don't tell you everything. Like, what did the eye test tell you? Like this dude was on one. And when you're talking about a professional athlete, sometimes they just had that out of body moment where they just on one. It's your day. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And last night he was on one. It was his day. Like they couldn't touch him. They had that game pretty much in the bag. I believe if they would have left him in maybe 2 more innings and the Dodgers had maybe 1 inning to get with him, you know what I mean? They may have won that game. Tampa may have won that game last night. So
if they had left him in just 1 inning, because as soon as he came out, this Dodgers scored 2 runs. 2 immediate runs. As soon as immediately. Like bang, boom, bye.
And
when you do that,
we looking at yesterday was game 6, right? Yeah. There is no tomorrow. Like pitchers don't pitch game 6 and then turn around and able to play game 7. You leave them in there as long as you can. It's the last game. There is no tomorrow.
When they took him out, like Frank just said, they immediately got those hits, right? So you got the pitcher you just took out over here. You don't even look that way. He's sitting there going pop, pop, and the pitcher over there staring you down like, and you don't even look over there.
He was like, really?
The pitcher,
I can't believe that, man. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was like telling us, like, yo, man. It was like the sound of the ball, of the bat hitting the ball was shocking to him. Pow!
Could you imagine being on the bench and knowing and being on the team, knowing your pitcher ain't give up not one, like there was a zero on the board, and next thing you know, the pitcher who didn't allow any runs comes out, and then the next pitcher comes in and gives up 2 runs immediately. Can you imagine?
But how about this?
I was like,
how about the pitcher that came in for him?
Oh yeah,
I hate to be that guy.
Yeah, especially on the bus ride home.
You're supposed to be the closer. You know what I mean? You're supposed to close it after the starter, gets tired. You're supposed to come in and close it for him. It's like,
But that pitcher, the pitcher that came in probably didn't want going. Like, if here's a true team player. I don't care what sport. If the person you sub for is doing well, Fig, as much as you want to play, you don't want to mess up the game or the continuity and the flow. So they'd be like, yo, come on, get him. He probably was like, no, let him. He's doing good. Get your ass. Okay.
All right, y'all. Let's talk about the NBA because we got to keep the time. We got to keep the thing going on and everything else, man. A couple of how I am on the hot boards and everything else, man. Of course, the boards are talking right now, and there's been some trade rumors, but right now the boards are full up with Phillies making a lot of moves and everything else, and I'm really anxious to see what the Sixers are going to do. But right now, the thing is there's a lot of buyers but there are more sellers right now. And one of the sellers is the Lakers, because the Lakers are they have on the block right now Kyle Kuzma and Danny Green. So right now they're talking to the Wizards to see if they can get the Wizards to give up Bradley Beal. Now I'm gonna ask you,
Kyle Kuzma and Danny Green.
Yep, in a draft pick. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you this, Talent. Do you think that the Lakers, actually the Wizards, should give up Bradley Beal and make that trade right now? Because right now this is what the word is. And these guys have been pretty on point with their trade rumors of saying what's really actually happening. So I'm assuming that these people are in talks to see if the trade is going to actually happen. So, Talent, what's your thought? Danny Green for Bradley Beal going to the Lakers.
I think that's a crazy come up if they can do that for the Lakers. Because here's the thing: when we look at the team Bradley will be coming from, that team, it looks like it's on its way to dismantling. Mm-hmm. The star players both don't want to be there. You try to build it around John Wall, but John Wall seemingly is looking for an out too. Mm-hmm. So if that happened, and you're doing a Bradley Beal trade to bring in a Danny Green or Kuzma or together, that seems to me you're going in a different direction of jump starting things. Like almost, I hate to say rebuild, because nowadays the game is different. People don't look at it like we used to look. Back in the day, rebuilding took some time. They're trying to microwave that. They're trying to hit 2 minutes. Everyone wants to hit 2 minutes. So now the rebuilding is turned into like a 3-year process instead of an 8-year process. So I think that would be the proof in the pudding of what my theory is of the Wizards trying to revamp everything and rebuild. You know what I mean? But that's a come up for the Lakers. I like that for the Lakers, actually.
Okay, all right. I think it's an interesting move for the Lakers. I'm not sure if I'm a Wizards fan, and I'm a Wizards fan. I like it.
That's throwing in the towel if you're the Wizards.
Yeah, exactly. Fig, what you think? Bradley Beal.
I can tell you this. If they make this trade, the Washington Wizards are going to quickly go back to the Washington Bullets.
Yeah.
Because somebody going to be trying to kill the management of Washington if they pull this deal off. Are you kidding me? Danny Green is on his last leg. You understand what I'm saying? Those sneakers got about one layup and 2 jump shots left in them, and then they're done.
Yeah.
Flip them over because they're done on that side. Danny Green's career is just about over. He's going to get this last little bit of money. If he plays this year, he's going to play this year, and then we're going to be bye-bye, Danny. See you later, Danny. I'm going to see you later, Danny. No more play.
So you think Danny Green's done?
Danny. I'm going to see you later.
You think Danny Green's done?
What'd you say?
You think Danny Green's done? You think his career's almost
Yo, man, listen. Did you see Danny Green play this year? I mean, look, even on the Lakers, he's playing spotted minutes. When he was in San Antonio, Danny Green, he was serviceable, you know what I mean? But I don't even think Danny Green was a starter when he was in San Antonio.
No. Danny Green is the new Robert Horry.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, but Robert Horry was called Big Shot Bob.
Because he
missed his opportunity to be Robert Horry when he missed that 3-pointer at the top of the key. LeBron gave him his opportunity, and Danny Green blew it.
Yeah, I would say this.
He's Little Shot Lou. He's called
Yes, and then LeBron stepped over him like Allen Iverson did Ty Lue in the finals when the Sixers played him. Listen, man. And then you got Kyle Kuzma. Now, I really believe, honestly, I don't know about the rest of everybody else. I really believe that Kyle Kuzma's best days are ahead of him because he's a young cat, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I see sparks of talent. But here's the thing. I know with all of the stars and all of the good players that you have on the Lakers, it's kind of hard to give Kyle Kuzma the amount of minutes he needs to be effective. But still, it's a horrible deal for Washington to give away Bradley Beal for Kyle Kuzma, Danny Green, and a first-round pick, and especially this year because they ain't really nobody really coming out.
Talent, do you agree with what he's saying? Do you think it's the same thing? Because honestly, I think Danny Green isn't as bad as we laughing and joking. Danny Green didn't play that bad during the season. During the playoffs.
No. I don't agree. I think Danny Green. I think he's not old and done. But I do know that he's a specialist.
Yes.
So when I say that in the NBA, you got people that just play the game all around, and then you got specialists. Dennis Rodman was a specialist. Danny Green, and like even Robert Horry. Robert Horry wasn't always a specialist. In the later part of his career, he became a specialist. They said, okay, you know what? Rob is hitting that. He hits that setup shot. You know what? They start moving around to team just for that purpose. Danny Green is like that. He's a specialist. He's not like, I agree with Kyle Kuzma. He's a young dude who can play the game all around, who's only going to get better. But Danny Green's a specialist. That's different. Like I wouldn't, on my team, any team, Danny Green wouldn't be a starter. He would be the guy to come off the bench and be my specialist.
All right. Well, let me ask you about this one. This one is another one that the trade boards is on fire about right now. I woke up this morning. I saw Karl Anthony Towns' name being thrown all over the place on the board and everything else. And it seems like that Minnesota is in hot talks with Golden State to see if they could trade for Karl Anthony Towns to go to Golden State. Now, I think talent. I'm gonna throw this to you. I think if Golden State picks up Karl Anthony Towns, I think basically you can forget about it. It's a wrap to me. And I can't even see the Lakers taking him out if they add Karl Anthony Towns. Now I'm gonna throw that to you, and I'm gonna throw it to you because I know how you feeling about the Golden State and how you feel about the Lakers. But the addition of Karl Anthony Towns as a center or power forward is a great move for them if they get it, if they're able to pull it off. So
I'll be honest with you, man. I am like so not impressed with this guy.
Okay, why?
I don't know. He's like it's like a light-skinned Joel Embiid. Like I think the guy don't play to his potential. I think when the first year or two when he was in the league, I was the same way with Embiid, except Embiid comes off a little softer. I was like, yo, I think this dude's nice. But then right after that, he just ain't shown nothing consistent. Like here's the thing about Golden State. One word you can attach to that team is consistent. Mm-hmm. Consistency is everything with Golden State Warriors, the team they have right now. If you're going to put any piece in there, no matter how it looks or may not look, that piece has to be and match the consistency of that team. So I say that to say, if we get the best of him and on night in, night out, then you will be right, Frank. But if he is the guy that he's been showing me he is with the sporadic play and 2 nights good, 3 nights bad, a high scoring night here and not there, it's not going to work because you see how they play and how they move players.
Now, I'll put this to Fig and say the same thing to you, Fig, but I'll just add this on. It might be because he's playing for Minnesota and he got upset at being on a lousy team. So I don't know. I mean, he might give his all and might play through the roof. Fig, what you think? Karl Anthony Towns?
I'm going to throw out a couple of names. Andrew Bogut, Spates, and JaVale McGee. Mm-hmm. These are all big men that played extremely well on Golden State, and neither one of them is on Karl Anthony Towns' level. Not his level of talent. The thing about Golden State is they're not going to ask you to do very much. They're not going to require very much from you. They're going to require you to play defense and score. They really going to ask Karl Anthony Towns maybe to score 10 points a game. Maybe. He's not even required to do that. JaVale McGee didn't do hardly anything. And because he went to Golden State, it re-energized his career. Sort of like what the Lakers did for Dwight Howard. You know what I mean? He was serviceable there. These guys that have stars, when they don't ask you to be a star, then you sort of shine a little brighter because we know the stars on the Golden State is going to be Clay and Steph and Draymond Green, and then everybody else are just support players. So Karl Anthony Towns not going to ask to be. They're not going to ask him to be a star. They're going to ask him to be a serviceable player. Now, my only question is who will they have to give up for him? Now, that's the big question.
The thing is that Karl Anthony Towns' strongest suit is rebounding. That's his strongest thing, and that's what they
need.
Yeah, and when you got shooters who shoot a lot, you need some rebounders because we all know we've seen the game, we've watched it, we've played the game. You need rebounders because your shooter's not going to hit every shot. But if you got a great rebounder who can rebound the ball and give you second chance opportunities to be able to score again, and he's pretty good, he's in the top 4 or 5 rebounders in the league, your chances of winning have gone up, considerably. I think he's a great addition to the team. Now, the other guy is, before we jump and talk about the NFL, the other guy whose name is hot on the board is.
You didn't say who do you know who they have to give up to get him?
No.
You don't? Okay, all right.
The other name that's hot on the boards right now is, and really hot on the boards, is Victor Oladipo. Now, Oladipo. Now, I don't think anybody's surprised that the Pacers are shopping Victor Oladipo, but he's being shopped right now to the Bucks, the Sixers, and the Celtics. Now, depending on what Indiana's going to be able to get for him, is depending on which team he lands on. Now, I'm willing to go out on a limb to say that Victor Oladipo will fit really well with the Bucks and really well with the Celtics. I'm not so sure about the Sixers because it depends on the other pieces that they have. That's what I'm going to say. But what's your thoughts? Where do you think would be the best fit for Victor Oladipo if he was to come out now and he was to land on the Bucks, the Sixers, or the Celtics? What do you see?
Ain't gonna matter. He's and that's what I mean by a solid player who showed us stuff consistently. All 3 of those teams are great landing places for Oladipo. So again, we know that the Sixers is still in transformation because Doc is doing his magic over there. But we know it ain't gonna be bad. He's gonna put some pieces together, so that'll work for him. Celtics already a together team. You just added some more firepower and a hustler. You know what I mean? At all 3 teams, it's not a bad idea for him to go anywhere. He's one of those players that I'm talking about. That's a guy that showed us up and down that court. He's a starter. He's a profound player. All 3 of those teams, he's add something to it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Only thing I think, before I throw it to Fig, the only thing I think is if he lands on the Sixers, it depends on who else is on the team to make it. You know what I mean? Like if they lose Joel Embiid or they lose Al Horford, the Sixers not going to be as good. He can help them get there. But I don't know. I think they'll lose a lot.
Yeah, but Doc's not gonna lose those major pieces and not replace them with major pieces.
Well, right. I don't know, man. Right now, it seems like Doc got half the team up for trade. You know what I mean? He's making some moves. He's going to do some shots. He's going to do something in Philadelphia that's going to shock, obviously, a lot of the Sixers fan base. He's going to do something, and some people are going to be upset because that's what Doc does. Anyway, Fig, what's your thoughts?
I tell you the truth. If left up to Doc, I think he likes dogs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Doc likes dogs. He likes them guys that's gonna go get it.
Which tells you that Joel Embiid ain't the dude, and he's probably going to be the.
That's what I'm saying. And the thing is that Victor Oladipo, when healthy, is a star. Frank, I disagree. The one place that I think that Victor Oladipo won't fit is the Celtics, is because everybody on the Celtics is like Victor Oladipo. Like they got 3 or 4 guys that do exactly what Oladipo. You know what I mean? They got 3 guys. They got Brown, Tatum, and Kemba Walker. All of those dudes are in that Victor Oladipo sort of.
Yeah, but Victor Oladipo's a guard. Brown and Tatum are forwards. Victor Oladipo would take the place and be on
Kemba Walker, maybe.
Yeah, a back of Kemba Walker, and Kemba Walker's smaller. The Celtics want to get bigger at guard like they have with Marcus Smart.
If they get rid of a Victor Oladipo for a Kemba Walker, then I see it fitting. But I'm just saying that he seems like he's like a player that breaks down, the defense, get into the paint, and then possibly kick it to the open man or score for himself. That's what I see Victor Oladipo are, and the guys that I named. I see them being able to do that. Now, when you talk about somebody else, I
don't think they're gonna get rid of him for Kemba Walker. I think they're gonna get him and Kemba Walker, and I think they're gonna give up. Oh my God! And now of course I gotta hear him. Not Smart. The white guy who came.
I know who you're talking about. Not. Oh God. I know who you're talking about. The one who got injured.
Yes,
and he came from Utah, right? Was it came from Utah?
Yes. Why?
I know who you're talking about. I can't think. I know exactly who you're talking about. I can't think of his name. But now
you talking about Hayward?
Huh?
Yeah, Gordon Hayward. Yeah.
I think he'll work for the Bucks.
Gordon Hayward. They'll trade Gordon Hayward out, add Victor Oladipo in there, and of course Gordon Hayward's going to go with maybe another player. and a draft pick, and they're gonna probably get rid of. That's if the Celtics are willing to do all that. But the Celtics,
Right.
Danny Ainge is not one who's gonna give up a lot to get some. Not one. He's not that dude. So
and a player that has been injured,
right,
quite a bit. And
and
last but
he's
not
getting
least,
the
'cause we was
option
talking
for
about
35 for a lot of money too. I think it's 35, 37 additional million. But
right. And last but not least, we were talking about the Bucks. I think that Oladipo would fit very well on the Bucks because he can score, he can break down the defense, and he'll fill that hole that Malcolm Brogdon left when he was there in Milwaukee, because that's what they need. They need somebody like the Victor Oladipo, because he's gonna play defense, he can shoot from the outside, and he can break down the defense and get in the paint. You're not building a wall for Victor Oladipo. You know what I mean? Because he can shoot. You know what I mean? He can pull up mid-range, he can shoot three-pointer, and if you play him one-on-one, he'll break down the defense and get to the hole. So that'll be a good look for the Bucks.
Now let me ask you this. Well, let me get ready to bring in my man Stack, checking the
Stacking over.
Now, Stack, I'm gonna bring you in. We want to talk about the NFL, but first, before we jump to talk about the NFL, did we get anything right or wrong? Where we besides not Gordon Hayward, I
mean, everything's pretty much straight. It's just the NFL player that has to leave is he's a running back on the Jaguars called his name is Raquel Armstead.
Really? I thought it was a defensive end. Are you sure about that?
This story came out on the 25th. Yeah, he tested twice. He's been hospitalized twice for COVID.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
And he's out for the season now. I didn't see anything else. I did see that the starting quarterback on the Wisconsin football team, he caught it twice as well.
I saw that this morning.
That was this morning, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, y'all are good. Philly did add Daryl Morey, the old GM from Houston.
Yeah,
he gave him a 5-year deal. Also, I would totally take Oladipo on the Celtics, and he would play the 2, and Jaylen Brown slips down to the 3, and Jason Tatum slips down to the 4.
Yeah.
And I think we'd run with that. And I think Gordon Hayward
I think he's gone. I think Gordon Hayward's gone.
If Gordon Hayward is gone, he's only due $34 million if he opts in. Opts in. And Indiana is a likely destination for him because he's from Indiana. He was a high school basketball darling out there, and he played for Butler. Took them to the Final Four with Brad Stevens and all that. So
but it just depends on what Indiana wants for him. If they want Gordon Hayward, they'll take Gordon Hayward. But if they want Gordon Hayward with an additional play and a draft pick, Danny Ainge is not doing that.
But the money won't even work. The money wouldn't even work because Gordon Hayward makes so much more than Oladipo does. They actually have to send Oladipo and some change to make the money work. If Hayward's gone.
Yeah, they definitely.
You guys need to listen. Oladipo is beautiful. You understand? Great player. The Celtics need a serviceable center.
Yeah. We know that part definitely. Let's talk about the NFL because I want to make sure we get into our results from last week too, right, Faye? We got to get to that too.
Yeah,
right?
We got the results. Who's leading?
No, hold on.
Behind.
We're going to get to that in just a second. I want to talk about this. There's one thing that's jumped off. The Bengals traded the Pro Bowl defensive end Carlos Dunlap to the Seahawks about 3 hours ago. And that's definitely going to make the Seahawks a little bit better on the outside and of course on the inside, because if he plays defensive end, he's going to be cutting around the corner. The Seahawks went from being a very good team to an excellent team, in my opinion, just from that one move. But we'll see. I mean, that's why they play the game. But I'm going to throw this out to all three of you all before we do the picks. And I'm going to ask Talent. I'm going to start with Talent first and everything and say this to you. Trevor Lawrence is throwing some mustard in the sauce right now, Talent. He's throwing some mustard in the sauce. He's saying that he might play one more year at Clemson and not come out. Now, I heard a couple of people debating this morning. The Jets have 27 picks over the next 3 years, maybe 30 picks over the next 3 years. If you're Trevor Lawrence and you know this, and somebody says, hey, you might want to go to the Jets because you could be part of that team to turn around. Or maybe you should stay in Clemson and get one more year because you don't know who's going to be the worst team next year. What are your thoughts when you hear that about the Jets and Trevor Lawrence and all this, working out right now? What's your thought process on that?
One word comes to mind. The word of the day is opportunity. You jump on you seize opportunity, especially in sports, because it changes year to year. That opportunity may not allot itself for him in line. The stars are aligned to me. If I'm him, I'm like, you know what? the stars are aligned. I could go be that guy, and they got X amount of picks over the next 3 years. So we got nothing but room and opportunity to build and turn the franchise around. I don't think nothing feels better to a sports star in any sport than being the guy that turns the organization around.
So you think he should come out this year?
Oh, absolutely. Because, okay, remember, what comes to my mind, again, when opportunities in your face like that, when you don't jump on opportunity and close and seize the situation, you don't know. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. You could, look at Dak Prescott. How many times on this show has I said, cut your deal, get your money, close the deal. And you're waiting, and then boom, look where we are. You don't know what next year holds. You see what the future holds for you right now. Seize the opportunity.
I thought to you, Fig, and I'll say it again, the Jets have 27 picks over the next 3 years, more than any other team, and that's happened in, I think, almost NFL history. They have more picks than anybody. They just got a new GM. They're about to make some moves that, depending on what the GM does, and we know they're going to fire Adam Gase at the end of the year. If you're Trevor Lawrence, do you want to go there this year?
It's one thing that I need to know first. Number one, who is the GM and who the coach is going to be?
Well, the GM's going to be, I don't know the GM's name. The GM's new. He's going to be there. But who's the coach going to be for next year?
The reason I want to know, no, because that means something. Because listen, 27 picks is lovely. Who's going to be doing the picking is really important. Who shout for the groceries is important. You can pick 27 bums. If I had Bill Belichick and he was picking the players, I'd be like, oh hell yeah! If I'm Trevor Lawrence, I'm like, yeah, sign me up, I'm down. If it was the NBA and it was Popovich, I'd be like, yeah, I'm down, I'm good. I don't know who's picking the players. I don't care. You got 27 picks. How many of them going to be good? How many are going to be serviceable?
Well,
it's going to make the team better.
Unfortunately, I'm getting ready to throw it the stack, but unfortunately, I have to say this to you before I throw it the stack. I got to say this, add this on. Everything you said is right, but Trevor Lawrence has to make the decision now. He can't wait until after, because their season and everything else that he has to make a decision, because the college football season is ending and he has to make a decision. So if he decides, it's going to have to be now, and you're going to have to hope and pray that it works out in the way you want it to be.
Wait,
you know what I mean?
But wasn't there a thing where you could say you're going and then change your mind?
Yeah, but
they didn't
somebody you know of did that and ruined that for everybody else. That's not happening.
The man said that sounds crazy as hell. Hey, wasn't it a thing where you can?
No, because, am I right, Frank? Though,
No, I know what you mean.
Like you can say, "Yo, I'm going for the draft." Be like, you know what? I want to go back to school for 1
more
year.
I know what you mean, but you gotta hear how
Plenty
wasn't it a thing where
plenty of teams have had a boatload of upcoming picks and squandered it.
Yeah.
The Browns is one of them. The Jets have done it before. Shoot. Sometimes I feel like the Celtics might have did it. But anyway, only one reason that Talent alluded to it is Dak Prescott. Trevor Lawrence is playing football, college football at quarterback. Any day you can get injured. You're the most highly tutored quarterback, so you're going to get your guaranteed money before you even play a game. Go ahead and cash in. Just cash in. Just get that security. I mean, it's a no-brainer, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I know money's probably not a thing for him. He probably comes from a decent family and all, but this is your bread. This ain't daddy's bread. This ain't mommy's bread. It's about to be your bread.
Right. Now, I will say this too. What Eli Manning did years ago, you can't do like that anymore right now. And I think he's really gambling if it's not going to be something, if it's not going to be the team that he's hoping it to be. I'm getting a feeling from this, and I don't know what you all feel. I'm getting a feeling for this. He just doesn't want to go to the Jets. He's willing to take anything he could do. He just doesn't want to go, just for him even to put the story out there. I think he doesn't want to go to the Jets.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you this. I don't think that Sam Darnold is that bad. I really don't. I think Sam Darnold is. Look, I know this may not be popular.
No, he's a gamer.
Sam Darnold is a decent quarterback, and I think he don't have the players around him to help him out. I mean,
I totally agree.
The kid is running for his life most of the time. You know what I mean? They need an offensive line so they could be able to protect him. Your quarterback, everybody knows. I don't care who your quarterback is, unless
Right, you
he's
need the
just
line.
like super special, like an Aaron Rodgers or somebody that has a lot of mobility. Your quarterback is only as good as your offensive line.
I mean,
If I'm the
everybody knows
Jets,
that. This is a family show, and Frank, you're gonna stop being disrespectful, man. Frank said, "Who's Sam Darnold?" Big said, I don't think Sam Darnold that bad. Frank said, who the hell is?
no. Sam Darnold's a gamer.
Yeah, he is.
If you like Justin Herbert, you can't say nothing about Sam Darnold, okay?
Right.
First of
I'm
all.
not saying it was a small joke. It was a small joke.
First of all.
It was a small joke.
No, but
Hey,
but
it went over everybody's head except me. I mean, it went over everybody's head except Talent. Talent got it immediately. He's like,
right.
you can't.
Yo, man,
Jets,
you know who
if you're
Sam
the Jets-
Darnold is? Sam Darnold was Trevor Lawrence with the same offensive line.
That's it. Hey,
That's exactly.
if the Jets are
Give
smart,
Trevor
they'll
Lawrence the
draft
same
an
offensive line as Sam Darnold. They the same dude.
yes, sir.
Right? What'd you say, Stack?
If the Jets are smart, they'll take these picks and they'll build out their defense and their offensive line. That's what they'll do.
Yeah, I mean,
Darnold is good. He's got all the tools.
We all know in football, the first thing you build is your offensive line.
O-line,
you got a quarterback. You build your offensive line. The second thing you do is you build your defense because you can win a Super Bowl with a great defense and a mediocre quarterback.
You know what? Having a great quarterback and a terrible offensive line is like buying a luxury car with no insurance.
Yep.
That's just dumb.
Yeah.
Well, who's Sam Darnold?
See,
If Rodney was here today, he'd be talking about Fig's analogy today.
yeah.
Fig's analogy would have made it today.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's good. Let me throw this out there to you guys too before because in 3 minutes I want to make sure we put the picks and Fig to everybody else going out there. But let me throw this out there to you. The Cowboys right now, we all know the Cowboys are imploding or exploding, however you want to say it.
Oh God, yeah.
Andy Dalton is right now in concussion protocol, everything else. Do you think, I'll start with you, Fig. Do you think, and we're going to keep it short, but do you think that the Dallas Cowboys are going to make a trade to try to get another quarterback right now to try to help them salvage the season? It's because
Hell no, man. If I was Jerry, I'd say the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes.
They got to win 3 more games, and they could win it. They could win what is it, the NFC East, I think they're in.
The East.
Yeah, so you get my point?
Listen, look, we got Dak Prescott who got a broken foot.
You don't have Dak. I'm talking about right now. You can make a trade.
No, what I'm saying, but I'm going somewhere. Dak Prescott got a broken foot. I don't think Jerry is gonna pay him 37. I don't think Jerry's gonna pay him $37 million next year if he could get Trevor Lawrence, because if they keep losing, they're gonna be in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes too.
Yeah.
But it's the NFC East. They're not gonna tank right now. Here's the thing. I mean, Jerry Jones should put a helmet on and go the hell out there.
They already tanked it.
He need to put a helmet on, go out there and take a couple of hits. Here's the thing. You got a third and maybe a fourth string quarterback with unknown people we may not know. I don't think it matters. I think you buckle up on your defense. You are in the crappiest division right now. That realistically it looks like, I ain't bullshit. It looked like 6 wins can win this division. 6, 7 wins will win your division.
Maybe 5.
Maybe 5. But this is how crappy it is. So I don't think you panic and go to get something right now. I think you got some stop the bleeding, in their case anyway, in this division, on the bench. You put whoever's in there, they go in there. Dalton will be back for the tail end of this thing. He's only doing concussion protocol. Once they find out he ain't got no headache, that dude will be back in the South.
Okay, I'll throw this question out to you, Stack. Do you think they make a trade right now to get a quarterback to come in and help them establish the season? Or you think they say, you know what, let's just finish tanking this thing. Let's see what we get if we get Trevor Lawrence. Because I think Trevor Lawrence is saying that because he wants to go to the Cowboys and everything. Because who's he play for? He plays for Clemson, right? I don't think that's what he's thinking. And I think he don't want to play for the Jets. And I said this yesterday. My Pelican brief thought pattern. I'm thinking that's what his thought process. But
I think the Cowboys are not going to necessarily tank, but I think they just live with what they got. I mean, losing your starting quarterback to an injury is enough of a reason. It's not an excuse for having a bad season, but it's enough of a reason to be like, you know what? We're gonna lose some games. We're gonna have a high draft pick. We'll pick up another offensive lineman or a defensive stud. and go back to the drawing board. We got Andy Dalton and Dak Prescott.
Yeah, but listen to this stat. This morning, the Tyree Rowe and Darryl Worley of the Cowboys are about to get cut. That's money. They're cutting two of the best players right now. They're making cuts and they're trying to do some things. I think they say, you know what? When I saw the news of that cuts right there, I'm saying, you know what? It sounds like the Cowboys are thinking, you know what?
About the clean house
might not be a bad idea if we finish continuing to lose because we're not going to win. So why don't we finish losing and see if we get Trevor Lawrence? Think of how much money the Cowboys will be worth if Trevor Lawrence ends up landing on the Cowboys. Do you know? And they already.
Can I be honest? Yo, Trevor Lawrence better be good when he gets to the league because
I agree. But talent. Tell me if I'm lying. Can you not see the amount of money and the value that the Cowboys are worth if Trevor Lawrence somehow or magically appears in a Cowboys uniform? Can you imagine that? And he not even plays one game.
Well, financially, I'm not going to lie. You make a ton of sense because everybody knows the richest people are the cheapest people.
Yeah.
So I say that to say you take a Jerry Jones maybe thinking like this. Okay, because we all know when you come into your rookie seasons or whatever, you're not getting paid right away. So
right.
I'm going to get away with a couple of seasons. Let's hypothetically, I got Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to get away with a few seasons on cheap. My value of my team goes sky high, right? Yeah. So I'm not spending, I'm earning, and my value's going up high. That's a cheapskate's way out. So being a cheapskate billionaire, you make a lot of sense financially. I'm just thinking, no, you do. I'm just thinking from a braggadocious, prideful man. This man is full of pride. He is cheap, but at the same time, he's probably one of the proudest owners in the NFL. And
you know how fast people will forget about, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you know how fast people will forget about Dak Prescott if they think they're going to get Trevor Lawrence? Do you know how fast?
I agree with that. I agree with that. I still think that Pelican brief is 3 to 4 games premature, too early.
Okay,
I still think he's in this mindset. Right.
Okay, we'll see. But I just wanted to make sure I tell all of y'all on this fact while we're recording the show, I'm really feeling that's happening right now. But anyway, Fig, it's that time, bro. We got to get ready to pull out who did what, when, where, and where. You know.
All right. So listen,
I'm in the lead.
It's a crazy week, man. Let me tell you. Yo, all right. So I'll start. I'll go across the board. You know what? I'll go across the board. Rodney Perry had 9 wins and 5 losses last week, which gives him a grand total of 42 wins since we started picking.
Okay.
Frank, you had 9 wins, 5 losses. Gives you a grand total of 44 since we started. Talent had a grand total of 10 wins, 4 losses, and he has 48 wins for the total. Myself, I had 10 wins, 4 losses, and I have a grand total of 46 wins since we started. Stats, who was ahead up until last week, had a grand total of 8 wins and 6 losses, and now has 47 wins, which puts Talent ahead by 1 win. Talent is taking the lead over.
I thought I told y'all I wouldn't stop. I thought
can I be honest? You know, this is like playing with a handicap in golf in the sense that y'all know I'm a bet with the Patriots every week.
I was about to say the same thing.
I'm basically giving y'all 4 wins. I'd be in the 50s right now if I was using my real brain, but I bet with the Patriots with my heart. You know what I mean? But that's okay because that's done. That's done.
Yeah,
you know what? With y'all.
You know what, Stack? I gave up my wins too to the Patriots, and I'm still mad about that. But
playtime is over. Playtime is over, Talent. I'm gonna show you talent.
Now, granted,
talent.
With the exception of
talent.
Listen, with the exception of maybe like 1 week, Talent has been going with the Jets, and the Jets haven't won a game all year. I mean, at least the Patriots did win a couple of games.
They won 2 games.
The Jets hasn't won any
games, dog.
2 games. Patriots won 2 games.
And the Jets haven't won any. But I'm saying Talent has been picking the Jets almost
every
week.
Let me say this, Stacks. First of all, compliment on your background. It looks beautiful, right? However,
Taxi.
you were doing way better in the dark.
Wow. Okay.
That was a
Hey,
shot
Sig,
across
that's
the
a
board.
fact, Sig, right? That's a fact, right?
That was a shot across the board.
When he was picking in the dark, he was winning.
All right, now let me ask you guys.
I made those
Yo,
picks in
Stack,
the dark.
since you've been traveling and living the life of Riley and going down to Sweet Lou Wings, now then you starting to fall off. I think you're losing your focus there, Stack.
Okay.
Let me ask
No,
you
it's
all
okay.
this. Let me
I'm
ask you
gonna
this
reel
question.
it. I just wanted to make it competitive. Like the Dodgers did in the World Series. They just wanted to make it, interesting.
Okay, well now let me ask you guys a question. Let's keep this on the NFL. The NFL trade deadline is Tuesday. Is there any team that you could see that's going to make a major trade that will uplift them and help their team get better? And if you think it's the team, tell me now. I'm gonna start with you, Stack. I'm gonna say, which team do you think? Because we already know that Antonio Brown. There's some teams that made some moves, like Antonio Brown landing on the Bucks. Of course, Le'Veon Bell landed on the Chiefs. So you see teams making up there, but they got until Tuesday. They got to Tuesday to make a major trade. What team do you see making that major trade to help them think that they're going to win the whole Super Bowl? Who's that team? Who you see?
I got a fear that the Patriots are going to trade Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
And it just seems likely. If I know Belichick,
He's definitely going to trade him. He's straight.
So that's probably, but I mean, he's making big money and he is the best corner in the league right now. So, I think that's probably the most likely blockbuster trade. I don't know what they're going to go get for him, but I think that's a possibility, major possibility.
All right, I'm gonna throw it out there for my pick team. I think I'm gonna pick the Green Bay Packers. I think the Green Bay Packers are one wide receiver away from breaking on the outside for helping them think that they're going to get to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Because when they lost to the Bucks, their thing was their wide receivers weren't getting separation fast enough for them. You know what I mean? Then they had some injuries, so I think the Green Bay Packers are going to make some kind of blockbuster trade to help them get to obviously what they think would be the promised land. Talent, who's your team that you think is going to make a blockbuster trade by Tuesday?
Well, I think Tuesday is November 3rd.
Yeah,
and I think the whole country is going to trade Donald Trump for Joe Biden. That's first.
I agree with that.
It falls on election day. I don't really see any major trades happening before the deadline. I see some shuffling from teams that like you're doing impact trades, but I think it's going to be a lot of non-impact trades between teams that ain't really doing nothing. So look for some of the Texans to make a move. Teams like the Texans, you know what I mean? And
but if a team did, if a team did, I'm putting you on the spot. If a team did,
I think the Texans. I see the Texans doing something with the line. The O line and the D line. I wouldn't be surprised if 3 or 4 players shuffle from either side of the Texans, bring somebody else in because they're hurting on the line. I mean, they're not a bad team. They can put up points, but they can't stop points.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Fig, who's your team?
I mean, my team is the Giants.
Well, who's your team that you're gonna pick that would make a trade?
Who is Sam Darnold, man?
I was trying to think like who needs some help on the defense that's a threat, because I think a defensive player is easier to move or would be easier to move. I don't see no big time. I was thinking about it. I didn't see no big time receivers, and that's what Green Bay needs. I was thinking hard. I was trying to go with Green Bay, but I don't know no big time receivers that any teams are willing to give up right now in order to help Green Bay get over the hump. So I'm thinking maybe a defensive player. You know what I mean? Maybe somewhere to, I would say maybe the Cardinals or
the Cardinals might make a trade because they're definitely getting a lot better every week. I can see that. Yeah,
I see the Cardinals possibly, or even Patrick Mahomes and the boys. They look like they might need a player or two on the defensive end to shore them up, because right now on the offensive line we know they're juggernauts. Mm-hmm. That's the only place that they come up short. If they get somebody like a linebacker or a defensive end or something like that, that'll take them to the next level. They'd be almost like a guarantee without injuries.
But Fig, wasn't it a thing where you could, say you're gonna trade and then change your mind and don't do it?
All right, keep it up now.
I think that's the funniest thing I heard all day. Isn't a thing where you sound like a guy in school who grades are horrible and he ain't gonna go to the next grade. And if I grade and I don't go to the next, yeah, you left back.
A D is passing.
Oh man!
Hey, I don't care what nobody say.
Didn't the Dodgers win the World Series last night, man?
Yeah,
They did. They sure did.
We talked about it.
The Brooklyn Dodgers, baby, represent Brooklyn.
The Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yes, we talked about that. Like we talked about.
When you're from Brooklyn, you can take the team out of Brooklyn, but you can't take the Brooklyn out the team, baby.
What it sounds like to me is the Dodgers just dodged the New York curse. That's what they did.
They got out of there.
Well, I did think about you guys. I thought because Mookie Betts is a beast. So when they won, all I thought about was y'all two. Like I was like, damn, Boston, like this dude is
it's
like,
okay, bro. We do this. Look at the Lakers. We gave them Rondo. Look at the Dodgers. I mean, come on, man.
And in honor of the Red Sox giving up Mookie Betts and them winning the World Series, I'm drinking out of a red cup.
There you go.
Me too.
Did y'all
I'm just showing my
Mookie Betts
what?
made a comment last night to David Ortiz. Like, I thought I was gonna be a Red Sox for life. That's what he said.
Wow.
Yeah. They did him dirty. You know
Last
that's how
night.
Boston do you sometimes, man.
But you see, the thing is with the Red Sox, we build our players up from the farm system. We're not like the Yankees. We go buy people.
Yeah, well, the big cities, we don't have farmers.
Let
We
me
don't have farmers in big cities. We usually just buy out.
Let me raise the flag and say we'll be back tomorrow.
That's it. Okay, yeah, that's right.
We're gonna be back tomorrow and finish this conversation, and then we're gonna also finish the conversation about LeBron James being one. I don't want to say the laziest NBA players, but being one of the players who thinks he's big enough that he can sit out the first half of
a whole month.
A month and everything else. We thought about that. Anyway,
he wants to sit out a whole month.
Tomorrow's box seats. Tell everybody out there how they can follow you.
You see what it is, man. It's just comedy on Twitter, Talent the Comedian on Instagram. And if you're a Facebook junkie, find me at King Talent Harris. That's how I get down. Tell him, Vic.
That's where I find him. I always find him at King Talent Harris. That's what I do. That's where he be. And if you want to follow me, you can follow your boy Fig at Comedian Fig on all social media platforms, baby. That's Facebook, that's Instagram, and Twitter. And I'll be holding it down on the ones and the twos.
Zach, how do they follow you?
Hey, y'all can find me checking my mailbox. I'm waiting on my It's Just Comedy paraphernalia. I don't know where it's at. Every day I take that walk to the mailbox and walk back.
You gotta send the address, Kat.
Other than that, y'all can find me on Instagram and Twitter at StackingOver. And y'all can also find me on the box seats Monday through Friday, 1 to 2.
I'm just glad that these guys want to be followed today because this is what I deal with every single day. I'm Frank Holder. That's Fig. That's Talent. That's Rodney Perry will be back tomorrow. This is the show called The Box Seats. We're on every Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. We are on the Humor Mill channel. Download the app. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You can even call the cable service provider and tell them to add the channel too because we out there too. So with that being said, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow we got a great show. We're going to talk about some more of this, and we're going to start some hot and heated debates. I can't wait to jump into that because right now I'm sick of what I'm hearing. So we'll talk about all that stuff tomorrow. and I'll leave y'all with this. Who is, and then we'll figure the dot line in tomorrow. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Word of the day, braggadocious.